Hi there, Robin here from Xbound. Today we're going to be doing some Q&As. I'm going to be answering your questions, your comments, and stuff that you've posted on YouTube. So we're going to get right to it. We're going to answer a few questions, see where we can go with this. So the first one is basically, got somebody looking for subwoofer for house parties, small house parties. Is this going to be enough? And they're referring to Mackie Thump 18S. That's a powered 18-inch subwoofer, and it has tons of bass. Based on the way the actual unit's designed, it pretty much works in an indoor or an outdoor environment, and it just throws a lot. So if proportionally your speakers are similar to or like, let's say, the Mackie Thump new A series, that's the new full box look, then yes, this would be a really nice subwoofer. You can't go wrong with that. There's a lot of good subs in that line or in that price range, so you can compare them. I'd probably either look at that or the Alto TS-310 and also the Electro Voice. So all in the same price range. Harder to find right now, but eventually you will have great options on the Blast King. The exact model is going to be, this is if you really want a big amount of bass in the same price range. It's called the BPS 18-2 second generation. So that's BPS 18II or version 2. So those are all be in the same price range, and they're going to have a ton of bass, all of them. House parties, no worries. So next question is from Tom, and he's got himself Roland V Drums, and by the way, those are awesome. That's a big monster set of drums, very top end stuff. He's got a Roland PM-200 monitor. He's also bought some TS-310s. He's looking to improve the bass response, the low end, the bottom end of his drums, and he's asking for a subwoofer. If you're out and about playing live gigs in an open space, that sort of thing, you know, like bars, pubs, stuff like that, then you probably want to get an 18-inch so it fills the whole room. If it's mostly for your personal use, so something you're going to have at home, rec room, studio, garage band, that sort of thing, then the 15-inch. I would stick with the Altos because you're going to be able to use the contour and the digital sound processor built into the back of the subwoofer. That'll maximize the response of the TS-310s that you have. So combining the two together is going to give you a really big effect on that drum set. New question, and this is the reason why we have the Virtualizer 3D and from Behringer and the Mackie Pro FX 16 version 3 on the table. The question actually is in reference to the version 2 from Mackie, but we don't have that anymore. It's version 3 now. And the question is basically that Fred sees the Master FX Send on the board, which is true. The FX Send is right here, but he doesn't see where the return comes into play. So when you have a mixer that has an FX Send and it doesn't have a return, a master return or a main return back on the board, it's usually a bigger board, and that's because they think you're just going to utilize one of the channels as your return for your effects. Because literally I can plug up to, if I wasn't using monitors, I can plug up to 4 effects and have them all come back into different channels. But in this case, you can, with this machine here, I can use balance or unbalance. So if anybody actually notices that the fact that one cable is balanced and the other cable is unbalanced, it's more just for demonstration purposes. So here I go. I take the FX Send, I plug it into there. I come over here, so I've got my signal coming out of here, and I'm going to plug that into the input on the back of this guy right here. Then I'm going to take the output of the processor, so I'm going to plug that into the output. So I've sent it out, brought it into here, I'm taking the out of there, and I'm going to bring that right back into, and I don't have to plug into, I don't need to use a Y splitter because the mixing board actually tells me that if I go in this case, you at home, if you have version 2, you can go all the way to 16. But I'm going to look here and it's going to tell me that my line 13 is left, but it's also mono. So if I don't plug anything into here, this is automatically going to go to the left and right speaker. Great, I've done that. So what next? Well, I'm going to use all the effects knobs because this basically now bypassed the built-in effects. I'm going to use all the effects knobs, which are the yellow knobs, to adjust the output level of everybody's input mics, whatever I'm using, and the intention is I want that to come out of here, which is what it's doing, and then in turn it's going to come here. This is now going to control my effects because I've plugged it into this channel here, and I'm be able to use this slider to adjust what the effects happening in my case, the Virtualizer 3D FX2000 from Behringer is all going to get processed and come through this channel. And there you go. You've now used the main or master effects output to bypass the internal effects, send that off to a better or more detailed featured processor with a ton of extra stuff on it, and I brought it back into the mixer. Voila, I hope that helps you with your question, and we should do a video just on all of this, but this is pretty much how that works. So again, check your instructions on whatever processor you're using. It's usually going to tell you on the back if you can use balanced or unbalanced cables, and then off you go to the races. Thank you very much for the question. It's a good one. There we go. New question from Jay. And the question is basically TX versus, in this case, the TS-310, because they are, he makes a good point, they're the same price. One is a 15-inch and the other one is an 8-inch, or roughly about the same price. Which one's better? It really comes down to how far away. If you're standing 8 feet away from them, the 308 is going to be louder because powerful, you know, as amp goes 3+ times more powerful than the TX series. Same rules do apply, even though they're the same price. If you're going to work a larger room, it's better to have a larger driver to carry that sound further before it really tapers down in the dBs. The 8-inch is going to sound really good up close. So if you're using it as a monitor, if you're using it as a rehearsal speaker, if you're playing to a small group of people in front of you and you do plan on using a mixer, then the 8-inch is a nice speaker. But again, if you're just using it for a large rehearsal space, or you're just on your own but you're playing to a large room, not requiring a lot of volume, then I would look at the TX. I always, a good rule of thumb for the TX versus the TS, if you're paid for the job, if someone's paying you for the job, buy the TS series and buy the appropriate size. If it's for fun, personal use, entertainment, whatever the other cases can be, then the TX is a really nice speaker because you get more bang for your buck overall, but you're just not going to get all that extra power. So without exactly knowing how you're going to be playing with it or where it's going to be used, I would say stick with the TS series if you can afford it. If it's for fun use, if it's just for yourself, or for your friends, your buddies, that sort of thing, then the TX is a really good way to go. I know that's not a yes/no answer, but the best I can do. It's a popular question. It's you know, the Altec Lansing Lightning series, because it's a D-class power amp and it's got 550 watts. In my book, what I'm looking at RMS wise, I know they rated at 2,200 watts, but you know, let's be reasonable with the math here. How does it compare to other speakers like the TS-310 and the Mackie Thump for a beginner DJ? If you're going to be doing it as a beginner DJ, then I probably stick with the TS 315s or the Mackie Thumps. The Mackie Thumps have, you know, some extra DSP on the back, so options there. And the Alto TS-310 has more power. It has more power than the Mackie or anything else in its class. So that's probably a really good way to look at it. Think of the Lightning as the SUV of D-class power amp speakers. You might need something a little bit more heavy duty. If we can use a truck as an analogy, it's like you need to buy a heavy duty truck, not a light duty truck. So in this case, buying the Lightning would be like buying a light duty truck. You need something a little bit bigger than that, a little bit more, has a little bit more endurance for the product. I do like all the other features. So I like the fact that it has, you know, Bluetooth 4.2 in it. I like the fact that it has all the ring lights on it. I like all the options in the back of the unit. I think it's a good, well-rounded speaker, and everybody's always really happy when they buy it. It's got a lot of volume and a lot of bass. But if you're going to be working it every week and every time you use it, you're going to be playing it hard, not just like regular volume on an ongoing basis, then you probably, you know, have a look at the TS-315, that sort of thing. Hope that helps. New question, another popular question. Trooper versus TS-308, which one's better for me? I did a video on that, so I'm going to put the link for the video up there. And it always comes down to how you're going to use the product. You just heard me talk about the 308. The Trooper. Trooper is basically, it's that extra set of speakers that so many people end up having. They'll have all these speakers that they really like using on a regular basis, but then they need that special speaker because they're just going off to do a service, or they're just going to go do a small little gig for 20 people, or they're doing something in somebody's house versus doing it in a bar. Something smaller, easier, portable, with great sound quality. That is what the Trooper's all about. And if you own a great set of speakers and you're looking for a set of speakers that you can take around that are a lot lighter, a lot easier to carry around, that have great quality and great sound, Trooper. Price is awesome too, by the way, which is why so many people end up buying it all the time. All right, so that's going to wrap up today's Q&As and comments. Again, if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I can't get to everybody all the time, and I try and do these as often as possible. So by all means, leave it down below. If you have any comments about or questions about what we talked about in this video or any other video, please leave them down below. We'll see you on the next one. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Hit that bell button if you really want to know when the next video is coming out. And thumbs up, like button. That's very important. Always, you know, if it worked out, hit that like button. And we'll see you on the next video. Bye for now, and thanks for watching.